Hello my friends and welcome back. It's Wednesday, so happy Wednesday to you and happy Wednesday to me also. I know we're gonna have some kabooming news today. Let me tell you, some Russian soldiers have been smoking extremely carelessly in Russia. We have plenty of videos. We're gonna go through all of them. But before here, I wanna introduce you to a Ukrainian traditional instrument, bandura. And these kids are playing it in a train. I recognize this train because I've been in and out of Kyiv with it many times. And they're playing it on the hallway. It's very narrow, so I gotta give them props. Sounds good, looks good. And look how young they are. Beautiful Ukrainian folk song. Before we start with explosions in Moscow, and I know you want to get to it, me too, I just want to show you, there was the biggest prisoner exchange in all of the war, 1,000 against 1,000, that's the ballpark. And here we have a Ukrainian wife searching for her husband. Kornienko is the name of the husband. With a daughter, you could see the daughter, Ruslan Kornienko. Couldn't find him. And I just want to share this moment since this is a life-changing moment for both of them and definitely for the daughter also. Sees it, runs past the security, finds him. It's a beautiful moment and I think it's a wonderful start for your Wednesday if you're watching this from the USA. I think everybody needs to see this. Alright my friends, now I'm gonna show you what you came to see in here. We begin with Russian ammo arsenal 6,000 kilometers away from Ukraine in Amur region, that's far east. You know, I gotta say it, I don't think Ukraine had anything to do with this one. I think this is all Russians. They just, when they decide to smoke carelessly, extremely carelessly, stuff spontaneously combusts. Yeah, no Ukrainian drones here, just a Russian 304th munitions arsenal of the 35th Army blowing up in the Far East. Nothing extra to see here. And we have a drone footage of it. Thank you, Russian drone operator, for shooting a beautiful video for us to start my Wednesday with. You can see Russian ammo burning. This is a forest strip now, but it started with the explosion on the ammo arsenal. Okay, but let's see what the Ukrainians managed to do, because there's a lot. I have a long list of videos for you today. Get yourself ready, my friends. So Ukraine decided to send Lyuty drones. Lyuty drones they look a little bit like Bayraktar. They have this weird shape in the back of them, and they're long-range Ukrainian loitering munitions, and they were sent to Moscow region, Vladimir region, and there was one other region. We'll get to it. And in this instance, a Lyuty drone just connected to a Russian UAV factory. A beautiful kaboom. I love to see that stuff, man. It makes my Wednesday. So what do we have here? You can see it up in the air, right? It's quite far away. I hope you see it on your screens also. I want to show you the distinct shape of the Ukrainian Lyuty drone. How can you tell? I can tell already by the shape of the wings and a little bit of a specific tail that they have. But look how beautiful this one is. Diving into it, bada boom, yes. Another instance that made my Wednesday. Here is another close-up of this very same hit. This is near Moscow, Dubna machine building plant in Dubna. But don't worry, it's not over. Now we got the drones hitting Raduga, Russian airspace company. There's plenty of companies, plenty of factories being hit, all with the Lyuty drones. Let me find the perfect angle for you. Here it is. Again, it's a small speck on the screen. Let me get you something bigger. Here we have a better close-up of it. And can you hear it? Makes a very distinct sound. By the way, this is not a Lyuty drone. This is another type of drone. I cannot tell you the name right now, but the Lyuty one has a very distinct tail. This one doesn't have it. It's another type of Ukrainian long-range drone making a beautiful noise in the skies of Moscow. Also, they started at night, so here is the very early morning attacks. Moscow residents never fail me with the videos. They always shoot enough so I can make a video about it. And now I want to introduce you to a Russian woman who finds out. She F around in a way that she's a part of a country that is a terrorist state committing war crimes in Ukraine, and now Ukraine is hitting back. And she is about to find out, and I'll read you the subtitles. But by the way, look at them nails. Damn, she has long ones. I don't know if she can claw with them. Are they deadly weapons or just pieces of plastic? I don't know. What even is happening? I don't understand anything right now. It hit right next to my house. This is just insane. And look here, you can see the debris where the Ukrainian drone connected. Wanted to give her a little hug. What kind of nightmare is this? I'm glad you asked. This is Russia. Everything over there is just completely wrecked. It hit literally at the first entrance. And now, my friends, you might think, oh, Artur, why are you so cruel? Why are you so inhuman? The girl is crying. She doesn't like to be part of this. She's just a civilian. My friends, I've seen plenty of videos like this, interviews on the street, young women, young men, just civilians saying, oh, I'm so glad Putin is finally making Russia great. I'm so glad we're doing Ukraine. And they ask why, and they say, it's fun, it's what we do, it's Russia, you know. It's an imperial mindset, and this girl's crying right here doesn't fool me at all. She is also a citizen of an imperialist state, and I don't have empathy for that. Now, my friends, we go to another city, Kronstadt company in Dubna. Again, it's a Moscow region, but a little bit away from it, because we have another angle of this Luty drone doing what it does best. And you can see this speck on the screen again. Oh, beautiful. Straight forward into it. That's the building of the factory. And we have aftermath also, as you can see on this one. Just burning, 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 burning. I love it. Every time I see something burn in Russia, I feel like a little sunshine is coming to my heart. It's just so beautiful. It warms my heart and warms the people next to it also. They can grill sausages if they want to. I don't know if they even have them in Russia. Now we get the Murov instrument making plant, and that was also hit. And we can always rely on the citizens filming the drones with their phones, so Ukrainians actually know what they hit or what they didn't. So it's a very nice confirmation from the Russian citizens. Thank you. You can hear it, right? You can hear the distinct sound of freedom. It's really nice. Now we go to Zelenograd, Moscow region. There's plenty of different cities and factories hit in Moscow region. This one, Zelenograd. Check this out. Now this again is a Luty drone going down, diving. Ooh la la, very nice. That's what I want to see in my Wednesday. Here you can see perfectly the Luty drone back tail, distinct back tail, how you recognize it. Just gliding peacefully, nobody shooting it down, it goes to hug itself a factory. That's beautiful. By the way, this very same drone, before it connected to the target, it made a peculiar move. You can see it in this video. These youngsters are filming it from the Banelka. Let me find the drone for you, 1 second. See. That's the drone right here, and it's making zigzags. It's right now crossing to the side of the camera, and now it turns again very soon. Just give it a little bit of time, and now it turns to the other way again. So it's doing zigzags like that. I guess it's trying to lure out Russian air defense, maybe, because other drones might follow up. And you can see the Luty up close here, zigzagging over Zelenograd, and later hitting UAV factory. Beautiful job from the Ukrainian GUR. Oh, we have one more region actually, Vladimir region. It's so weird that the Russians have actually a whole region called Vladimir. There's 3 videos again here. I don't think I'm gonna... Oh, okay, but this one is really good because this one actually is one that Russians shot down. Most of them, they don't, but this one, look at that. Clear cut shooting down of a Ukrainian drone with a missile. Boom. I can't say anything about it. In this instance, they did shoot it down and the debris actually was the one that made the fire. So, hey, 1 out of 10 maybe, yeah? Talking about drones, my friends, I have something beautiful for you to see right here. Now, this baby was made in Estonia by an Estonian drone making company, Kratworks. And I know the CEO, I know the dudes, they're really awesome and they focus on something peculiar. And outside chain, a demand, logistics chain to produce these drones outside of China, away from China. This is a kamikaze drone. These parts come mostly from China, in Russia and in Ukraine. But this, my friends, is a recon drone. Only Western world parts. We're talking Europe, Canada and USA parts and software. It's massively expensive because it's doesn't rely on anything made in China, but again, doesn't have the security risk that Chinese drones have in the event of war of NATO versus Russia, China. So we're getting ready to make our drones here in Estonia, not with Chinese parts, but with European, American and Canadian parts and software. So this is what Kratworks does. They're amazing. And I did one campaign for them actually, my 7th campaign that you donated $100,000 for. We bought these recon drones for Ukrainian units and they made Russians pay for everything they did there. Now, my friends, enough about the drones. I have some cool names to butcher and these are people who wrote to me and buy me a coffee. All of them are going to get this Rehi patch and you will also, if you're a monthly member there, go and sign up, write to me and I'll be sending this patch to you. Carolus Rex, when will you butcher my name? Boom, consider it butchered, my dude. Now we have David and Lynn Atkins, husband and wife. Congrats to you both. Also, if you want a patch, hit me up. I'll send it to you. We have Neil Kok, who actually sent me a photo of his patch collections. And look, you can see mine right there. This one already got it. So I sent it to him already. Thank you, Neil, for sharing the photo. And finally, we have Kile Skelly. And he also asked me, when will I butcher the name? Well, consider it butchered, my friend. If you want to get your name butchered or you want the Rehi patch, you know what to do. Now we travel to Tula region, Russia. There is a very specific sabotage group in Russia called Atesh. They also operate in occupied Crimea, but in this instance they do what they usually do, which is the cheapest and fastest way to slow down and hurt a big imperialistic rail supply line, which is the Russian army. So they set these relay cabinets on fire. So easy, it takes you 5 seconds. You spray it with gasoline or gasoline mixed with oil, light the match, it goes up in flames, and when it burns down, you can see Atesh right here written. It slows down, it doesn't destroy anything, but it slows down the logistics by a week, maybe 2 weeks until they repair this cabinet. Very cheap, but it makes a lot of pain for the imperialists. Now, my friends, I want to introduce you yet to another Russian Frankenstein tank. Why I chose this tank is because it has a crew of 3, as Russian tanks do, but on top of it they built this massive cage, as you have seen many times before, but now we get to look inside this cage that is covered with rubber. It's not only to protect the tank, I'm in hell. In addition to the crew of 3, they will have an entire squad sitting on top of the tank in a circle, much like that. Check this out, my friends. Russian tanks have their ammunitions built inside the turrets in a round. So if anything penetrates the tank's turrets and puts flames inside of it, these tanks will explode and you can see the turret flying to the moon. That's how they are designed. Now, if you have 8 izgoi guys sitting on top of that turret and that will be flying to the moon. Imagine that meat fest, my friends. That would be a barbecue. I'll be waiting to see that barbecue. And that's what they do. It's the Russian army, 21st century, my friends. They're filming it themselves. By the way, what is the squad that's going to be on top of that tank? Well, let me introduce you to these izgoi men. I mean, they're gonna be the meat that will be barbecued, and they are already crippled. This is the crippled squad. All of the troops are carrying canes because they cannot stand straight. They're injured in the legs. 1 cane, 2 canes. We got 3 canes and 4 canes. Now, I'm not here to make fun of anybody's injuries or disabilities. I'm here to show light on how evil the Russian commanders are, sending these wounded men to die like that. Okay, now I want to teleport you to another part of the front that is called, it's a forest, it's Serebryansky forest, and it is the forest that is most similar to any kind of moon landscape to World War I. Check it out. This is real footage, nothing edited here. You can hear the artillery thumping in the back. Most of the trees are cut by artillery. There are trench lines everywhere, mines everywhere, and razor wire everywhere. This is Serebryansky 21st century. Battles have been going on in these forests for the whole duration of this war, actually. It resembles World War I 100 years ago, so this shows us that in Russia nothing really changes. Now, my friends, I want to introduce you to a Russian field kitchen. Do you ever wonder how these Izgoy troops eat? They need to eat. I mean, if your soldier is dying of hunger, you cannot even send him as meat. The meat needs to move, because the only point of Russian meat is that it moves and soaks up Ukrainian ammunition. So you gotta feed them a little bit. So how these field kitchens work? The logistics guys, they don't want to spend any time on the front, so they come to the front at night, they dump their entire food supply out on the road, and they drive away. And what this Russian soldier is calling this is the Shvedsky stol, which means Swedish table. In Estonia we also have the saying Rootsi laud, which means like the Swedish table. It means in in our part of the world, that means that you serve yourself in a buffet. That's the Swedish table. And boom, that's the Swedish table of the Russian army. Everything dumped. This is not trash, it's food. Cans, water, cookies, coffee, it's all of their rations, oil, cooking oil, dumped like that for the raccoons to eat. That's how the front men have to eat. First come, first serve, last come, you don't get nothing, you're gonna starve. So yeah, that's the field kitchen, that's the logistics. We continue on the front because there's many videos I want to share with you from the front. Look at this dude, he's a Ukrainian fighter just walking across the field, and these strings you see right here, they're not strings, they are fiber optic cable. There's so much of it all over the place, it saturates almost every field on the front lines. If you fly the fiber optic cable drone, you fly it, but the cable stays on the ground, it doesn't decay, it stays like that. Now if you try to pull the cord apart, you cannot break it. But if you break it by bending it, it becomes very weak and breaks instantly because it's fiber optic. That's how it works. So yeah, it's strong or it's weak depending on how you work with it. In this case, when they're bending it right now, yeah, you can break it easily. But it's everywhere, and when this war will be won by Ukraine, these cables need to be cleared out because they will be stuck on the Ukrainian farmers' machines. My friends, check this out. This is Ukrainian dudes having fun on the front, and they got a pink, what is it, Moskvich? I think it's a Moskvich. Sabotage. I think it's a Sabotage. Correct me if I'm wrong. Supposed to be a Soviet car, Sabotage. It's a pink one, very beautiful. Unfortunately, it's not going to live long on the front since it's pink and such beautiful car. But still, yeah, looks very nice. They see me rolling, they hate it. Alright, we get back to serious matters. Now we're going to watch a video of a new kind of capability that Ukraine introduces. It is a mothership drone that carries FPV drones. It carries exactly these drones, but it lengthens the range because it carries them without the FPVs doing any work, and then it releases them. They call it Gogol M, and when I was connected with KUR leadership in Ukraine in my 5th mission, we actually had a meeting about this drone. Look, it's fixed wing. Let's be honest, it looks cheap. You can see that they are working with very cheap fasteners. It doesn't have to be expensive. It just has to make these guys fly over a few 100 kilometers. It flies up in the air. Mother drone, it can loiter there for 10 hours, carrying an FPV drone, 300 kilometers, 9 kilogram payload, so that it can carry 1, maybe 2 FPVs with the munitions, and it can release them at the correct time, because these guys only have about 20 to 30 minutes of battery. And if you start them on the front, you fly 5 clicks, maybe 10 clicks with them. You can fly 300 if you have a connection. You might not, but if you find that out, how to do that with the relay drones perhaps, and they release it from the fixed wing drone, you can fly them 300 kilometers away, which is massive. You can pinpoint enemy logistics hundreds of kilometers away, which really, it's a very scary weapon for the Russians. So yeah, a mother drone releasing an FPV drone. Very nice. My friends, this next video is not connected to the war, but it blew my mind, so I gotta share it. Check it out. It's a Ukrainian trolley bus. You know, trolley is the one with the wheels, but it gets electricity from the wires above. We have them a lot in the ex-Soviet countries. They're really nice. I really like them. This one broke down for some reason, and here is, I'm guessing, the bus driver, a Ukrainian woman with a miniskirt and high heels, balancing on a narrow fence, fixing up the trolley bus's electric connections. I mean, wow, wee-wah. Slava Ukrainian, my friends. When I went to Ukraine, most of the time, yeah, I handed over the drones, we shot weapons with Alpha Group, but then we have had a lot of meeting with Ukrainian and Estonian drone startups working with Ukrainian units. And I'm very connected to this next topic because I also am invested in some of these startups. Not this one specifically, but it's so massive, this change I'm about to show you, that I have to share it. Ukraine has created a new weapon against shahids. This is Sky Sentinel. It's an autonomous AI-powered turret with Browning M2, heavy machine gun and 360-degree targeting. Trained to ignore birds and only fire at real threats, it can take down targets flying up to 800 kilometers an hour. Working with radar, it tracks, locks and fires without human input. Each unit costs around 150,000. Sky Sentinel is already battle tested, it's taken down 4 shahids and mass production is now underway. To cover a city like Kyiv, you would need about 30 to 40 of these Sky Sentinels. I would say the weakest point around this weapon system itself is the Browning machine gun, because, I mean, if you ever fired a Browning, you know that bastard, it jams a lot, and if there's no human input, no human ready to unjam it, it's gonna jam. So you gotta just be there. But you don't have to shoot, at least. You can sleep on the post, and when shahids come, it opens fire, and when it jams, the operator can just unjam it. But other than that, it's a genius idea using the cheapest and most mass-producible ways possible to take down shahids. I'm talking about Brownings and the ammunition. Of course, the radar systems and the optics are very expensive. But compared to millions costing anti-air rockets like Patriot rockets, PAC-3s, this is pocket money, pocket change. My friends, good news comes from Europe. Friedrich Merz, the Chancellor of Germany, broke that news to us, and they allow, US and Europe lift range restrictions on Ukrainian missiles. And it does matter. Germany's newly elected Chancellor Friedrich Merz has announced that Ukraine's Western allies are lifting range restrictions on the weapons they have been supplying to Ukraine. Wow, my friends, I've been waiting for this news ever since I was born. Speaking at a local politician event in Berlin on Monday, Merz said that policy shift applies to weapons provided by countries including UK, France, so we have Scalp and Storm Shadow, very nice, Germany and the United States. These missiles of these 4 countries, they make a hell of a kaboom. We're talking ATACMS from the US, we're talking Storm Shadow, and in the future, I want to see it, Taurus missile for Ukraine. Merz, make it happen. Okay, my friends, you want to go to the beach? Let's go to the beach. I bring you to Sakhalin, Russian coast, far east, like far east, thousands of kilometers east. This I want to show you because Russian shadow fleet passes along this coast a lot, carrying oil and diesel and fuel oil and all of that stuff. And this coast is contaminated heavily with gasoline, diesel, fuel oil, everything. Look at it. Contaminations everywhere. And these are beaches that people visit. And it's so bad. The shadow fleet usually means they use tankers without a flag country and without insurance. So usually they're very old, beat up tankers that actually leak everything they carry onto the ocean. You thought you seen it? No, I take you to Anapa, Black Sea coast, Russian Federation. Here you can see actual damage to the beaches. People are swimming in this stuff. I mean, this is a pipeline that transports this oil straight to the tankers. You can actually see the tanker also, I think, on the end here. And it leaks. This pipeline is just dripping to the beach. It's right on the beach, dripping into it, and people are swimming in it. Oh, there's only few people here. Fear not, my friends, I have another video for you. Check this out. This one is the craziest one. This black stuff you see right here is fuel oil from the sunken tanker from 6 months ago on the Black Sea. Russian tanker sunk. It was an accident. I mean, Ukrainians didn't shoot at it. It just sank because it's old. And this is the fuel oil still coming ashore. And people are sunbathing in the fuel oil. I mean, wow. How much of an orc have you have to be to do that? But they are. They don't care at all. All of this black stuff is fuel oil. It's right here. The black line you see here, it's fuel oil. It's extremely toxic to humans. On the skin, to the lungs, to the liver, it's really bad for you, really. Especially for children, it's like you can die of the poisoning if it gets worse. Everything covered with fuel oil and tourists. These two things shouldn't go together, fuel oil and tourists. But in Russia, that's how it works. I couldn't believe my eyes. I thought this is like Ukrainian fake, but it's not. It's real. It's crazy. My friends, have you been on X or Facebook, wherever you are, and you see these people sometimes commenting on these war-related posts, and they're like very anti-West, but living in the West. Like, I'm an American citizen. I think Russia is a great country. I think America should be more like Russia. Well, my friends, let me introduce you to a Russian bot farm. This is what it looks like. If you're driving a car, check it out for a little bit, watch for a moment. That's thousands upon thousands of phones. That's the one you're arguing with. This is the guy living in the United States wanting US to be more like Russia. That's a robot. That's an AI-driven bot farm. You cannot argue with these guys. They are in numbers. This is supposed to be Prigozhin's bot farm, but there's no more Prigozhin, so let's call it a GRU or FSP bot farm. They are against us in numbers, unfortunately. My friends, I saved this news for the last part of the video because I know some of the viewers are sick of it, but I have to talk about it, although I have done it for so long. I introduce you to Donald Trump, my friends, the American president, who tweets out, what Vladimir Putin doesn't realize is that if it weren't for me, lots of really bad things would have already happened to Russia, and I mean really bad. He's playing with fire. I'm gonna say it how it is. This is Donald Trump himself tweeting, coming out of the closet with his bromance with Putin, saying that because of him, bad things are not happening with Russia. First of all, he's coming out of the closet with his love for dictators and Putin, really bad image. Second of all, he wants to control what Putin does. He promised this to his voters that he can end this war in 24 hours, thinking that he has some kind of leverage over Russia or over Ukraine. He doesn't. And he doesn't understand it. It's just delusional. I don't know where this guy gets it, but he doesn't know that he doesn't have control. What kind of madness would you call this? If you think you have control, but you don't know that you have it, and then you make a massive fool out of yourself. Well, anyway, let's watch a fun little clip. It's below a minute. Check it out.
Hello, Donald.
You listen to me, Vladimir.
If you don't end the war in Ukraine, I'm gonna put sanctions on you. No, you won't.
You're right, I won't.
But I will give you tons of money instead.
What are you, Qatar now?
I don't want tons of money.
But what do you want?
I want Ukraine, but I'll give you money. Does this money come with Ukraine?
No.
Well then no.
You know, not everything is about
Money, Ukraine, money, Ukraine.
Ah.
Got me again. Listen, JD and I are getting a little fed up with this charade.
If you don't do what we want, we are prepared to very strongly abandon Ukraine.
And drop the whole thing. Is that what you want? Yes.
Well then you... Wait, what?
Yep, exactly. Abandon Ukraine and drop the whole thing. I mean, ever since Trump started to play fool with this mediation stuff and negotiations, he has only hurt Ukraine, hurt the free world, hurt the free Western democracies. Now he's threatening to drop it. I mean, nobody wanted him there anyway. I've said it many times. He doesn't understand why he doesn't have leverage. Well, because I'll say it as I say it in every video. Russian regime, Kremlin sees talk and words as weakness. And Trump talks and talks and talks, saying, oh, Vladimir, stop, don't do it, I'm fed up with you. It's not what the Russians see in Kremlin. They see, oh, Donald weak, let's take more. That's what they see. But Trump needs a negotiator, like a translator. He doesn't know what he's doing to himself also. Here we have Keith Kellogg actually saying that we need to put more pressure on Russia before negotiations. You might say, oh, Kellogg is a nice guy, he wants to put pressure on Russia. No, he doesn't get the point. You don't negotiate with the Russians because they don't negotiate. They only negotiate when they're weak. They want to take time to gather strength and attack again. What you do with the Russians is you win on the battlefield. That's how you deal with them. That's the only way. So everybody from Trump's administration who wants to put pressure or negotiate, you have to fight the war and win it. That's how you do it. Then you can negotiate from a position of the winner. I'll show you how it's done. I don't have to show you. Finland shows you. In this video you can see F-35 fighter jets taking up and landing on Finnish highways. I kid you not, these are not airstrips, they're Finnish highways. At some points of these highways they are wider and built as airstrips. So if Russia wants to bomb Finnish airports or airfields, they still have massive amount of highways that F-35s can lift up in minutes if necessary, or land. This is what Putin is afraid of. This is how you show. I mean, Finland is the biggest artillery force and the biggest reserve army in all of Europe. That's how you negotiate with the Russians, with a massive damn army, not with words. Finnish people don't really speak much, but they pack a punch. Also, I can give props to Sweden. I'll read you a very short thread here. The US forces fired HIMARS rockets from Gotland, the Swedish insunkable aircraft carrier of an island in the Baltic Sea, 200 miles from the Russian military base in Kaliningrad during a NATO drills in the Baltics and Arctic with the UK, Nordics and Baltics. Check it out. Sweden rearmed Gotland with 4,500 troops and rebuilt air defense systems after years of demilitarization. That's what you have to do. You don't talk about it, you don't make threats, you just put your boots on the ground and that's it. The island lets NATO monitor and block movement in the Baltic Sea. Former Swedish defense chief said Putin has both eyes on Gotland, likely Russia's first target. US Marines fired HIMARS on Gotland, loaded the launchers onto transport aircraft, flew them to Finland and fired again within 24 hours. So check it out what happened. Gotland, a strategic most important island in the middle of the NATO Lake of Baltic, 200 miles from Kaliningrad. They fire HIMARS from there and 24 hours they fire the same HIMARS launcher in Finland, a few tens of clicks from the Russian border. That's sending a message. That's firing your stuff on the Russian border. That's what gets them scared and gets their attention. Not Donald Trump's, Vladimir, stop, please, you're hurting me. That doesn't work. My friends, every time Saturday happens, any month, any Saturday, if you're a channel member, you will get an extra analysis video on some topic, some deep dive connected to the war. Members get early access and it's only 99 cents per month. So go to the link in the description, become a YouTube channel member for $1 per month and enjoy these videos before anybody else. Until my next video, my friends, Slava Ukraini and bye-bye.